nationwide, and we are testing to see how the drop frames are going to go. We've been having some trouble with that since we switched over to OBS version 28. So we're waiting here. So far, so good. Sugar Bear gives his seal of approval. He says, looking good. Oh, do you need some light there? Oh, sorry, buddy. Let's put some light on for you. There you go. He says, well, now it's good. Now it's nice and warm. Do we need to drop that? Oh, big stretch, eh? Big stretch. So this is just the band. I like this decor. It's not my usual decor. I prefer the Gothic. But there we go. Been having fun doing deliveries. Just checking, just testing the drop frames. So far we have no drop frames. This is really interesting. So while I'm waiting, I might just as well go right over here and just good to test it out. That's all we're doing. So if you haven't heard it yet, they're paying big for the trade route or trader, even the trade route. It's over 1,000 XP you get. So everything's pretty much doubled. Even the carcasses. Any of your perfect carcasses are going to, not hides, but carcasses, perfect carcasses are getting at least 30% more pay. So it's well worth it. Well worth it to do your runs. Alright, so let's see if we're out of here. We'll do this one here since we, let's see, where are you at? Alright, go to open resource. Alright. So far, so good. We're in 2 minutes in and we don't have a single dropped frame, so I don't know. Haven't changed a thing. Oh, I just start to wonder what is it. If it isn't the setup here, then what is it? That's what we gotta wonder. Gotta wonder. Right back in. Okay, when it does that. Just gonna run like this. Yeah, it's just the band, but just testing her out. Alright, there we go. While I'm doing that, I'm running my bits on my PC, so no wasted time here. There we go. Distance. Oops. Here, Crips, work with me. Here we go. No drop frames yet. This is really, really interesting. I don't even know what to say. Things work sort of sketchy like this, but they do work, and then they don't. It obviously isn't the setup, so we've got to figure out how to get. There we go. Quick. So yeah, I'm doing the delivery with the PC. Got to do it while I got internet. playing a little bit of Skyrim without the VR, got the other version, and I quite like it. I know it's an old game, but I like the way you move through it. So I think we can call that test a success.
Yes.
Testing out everything we can. I'm just so glad it's back up. Had nothing but troubles with sound earlier, and then I actually don't think it was so much the sound as once I had troubles with the internet, we went about trying to getting Streamlabs, so I was testing other things. So, we'll just let this run, get my delivery done here, and call her good. Trade route was actually decent. The PC trade route was decent. There was no messing around. I'm going to make a prediction here. I'm going to say that I think that Rockstar is going to come out with the Halloween Pass or something, a DLC of some sort that's going to have our Halloween Pass in there, because that's what I do. I make predictions, I read cards. Speaking of which, if anybody's interested, I'm doing readings. We have the Wild Unknown Tarot and the Bohemian Gothic Tarot. Well, it looks like Sugar Bear moseyed on.
All right, fellers, give them what they paid for.
I think this has got to be the best time of the evening to do a delivery. It's quiet. Just get out there and get her done. So the frame rates are still looking good. We don't have any disconnects, so. Most beautiful game. The graphics are the most beautiful of any game I've ever played. And I used to think that Horizons West and those that they were the best, but once I saw Red Dead Redemption, it was a hands down, slam dunk. So I'd sure like to see them come out with something else. Wouldn't it be nice for them to come out with like a version 3, I would play that. I would buy at least 3 copies of it. So, welcome new viewer. So we haven't heard a whole lot, but with all the updates that have been done just now with this download, I'm going to say that if they're paying attention and they're updating and fixing things, this game's not dead. It's not. It's still kicking. This trade route is actually, what they've done with the trader role for this month. That's excellent. So I hope you're having a good evening. I hope you're managing to get in and get some good runs in for the trader. Sure helps your rank up though. You know, when you get that XP after doing your long distance delivery of 5,000 XP, even those of us who've been playing for a long time, it's well worth doing the runs.
We sure do.
But it also is helping the new players who are getting in. You can buy the wagons all with discounts, like they're on sale right now, so that's nice that they'll be able to just fly along. Hey, Silas. Oh, that's too bad. Yeah, I had troubles too, but it was more, I had internet connection issues. Well, you heard me. I was trying to set it up there. And that was when I was doing all right, so we got that done. Now, time to get killed. Oh, jeez. These guys are nasty. Ouch. I'm in the shootout at the end of my delivery here, so oh, this is always a tough one. I'm at rigs, and I'm gonna get my health hit. Eek. I love this game. They're brutal. All right, up on the edge. Let's get you guys. And we're almost there. Yeah, it was, you know, what happens is when, well, we are still blaming Sugar Bear. He did knock a couple cables loose, and it was the last thing that I was looking at because I thought nothing's changed. So I was looking at the software, I was looking at everything. Once you start playing with things, you break more things than you fix. So we got her back. We got her back going. Even the legendaries, I turned in a couple legendaries, and they were like, yeah, the telegram missions, like everything that they've added. I really think that, I mean, just my prediction, for what it's worth, I think that we're going to get a Halloween pass. I saw somebody post something about a DLC, but I didn't actually hear them talking about it. But and if I was going on hunches, I'd say if they're looking after this and giving us telegrams, then they're actually paying attention. My only worry is that they did this just for, okay, so we got that done. All right. All right, so we can get back in here. We have not had any frames, not one. Let's go back and look again. Yeah, not one dropped frame. I'm so happy now. Alright, so she can finish this. Thanks. She's got all her stuff, but while I was doing that, I did the delivery with the PC.
Well, shoot. Didn't think you could play.
By the way,
where are we headed? How's this going? Let's start this up again.
So, what shall we create?
Oh, did they? Okay. Okay, so I predicted it. I nailed it. I didn't see it. I didn't see it posted, so I was having so much trouble with the internet today, but it just felt like it really just felt it. And I sometimes I just have a knack for feeling where things are going. What? Oh, I got no blackberry? Oh, man.
C'est agréable. Now we wait.
Yeah, I should, Silas, you know you can go into a solo lobby on the PC. That's how I'm doing my deliveries now. I'm just so tired of the modders. I did manage to do a trade route though, and it didn't get messed up. So I was just like, wow. It actually, and I did a wild animal tagging with the PC, and it actually finished. Everybody actually.
No?
Well, I really was starting to feel like if they didn't make a change, that I thought that it was going to end up being. I thought that we were going to end up where they might go under. That was my biggest fear, is if they didn't start to listen to people and what they needed, that it was just going to be done. Because this is not a business where you can dictate or mandate what. Ooh, there's a little chipmunk there. I should have tried to get a perfect one, but I'm too tired. Too tired. There we go. Up you get. Alright, where were we heading? We got that. Oh, but we're going to get blackberry. That's right. I'm so glad that fall has just hit there. Like, I actually, went and looked at the thermostat and I said, I think we're going to be able to contemplate having to heat up, and I love that when we have to start heating the house. I'm much happier than when we're, I know it's cheaper to run the air conditioner, but I would rather be heating the house than air conditioning it. Yeah, I know, and like they just bought, what is it? Not Singo. Who did they just buy? Oh God, my brain's asleep already. The games that Facebook has. Oh, what are they called? And I was so scared that they were going to start making the games have to get smaller because of those games on Facebook. They're all running on vectors, and I was like, oh, that's not going to work. Because if they end up not giving us the graphics that we were used to with Red Dead, well, it wouldn't surprise me. I know they're not watching mine, but You know, there's some really good streamers out there that are making some content, and you know, you can tell by the following that people aren't ready to let go of this game. Like even though, you know, mine's a different type of stream, I get a lot of people drop by. You know, they want to see, obviously they want to see the PvP, and they want to see, I was supposed to be getting the blackberry in here, where are you at? But I'm really encouraged seeing that. That made me feel like, you know, they're going to look after us, I hope. I'm going to head back over to, let's see where that is. I'm going to go and get some blackberry. Yeah, PvP Cat is good. I really like him. He and he was raising lots for Ukraine as well. So I really like, he's got a good, and he's just so, he's got a good head on his shoulders. You listen to him talk, and he, you know, he's really sounds like a good guy. Not sure where he's at. We had a debate, my husband and I, about whether or not he was Russian. I couldn't tell what nationality he was. I don't know if he was, I could think he was originally Russian, but I don't know where he's living. His English is very good. I used to laugh when he would talk about those big Cossack hats. Like, I almost even wonder if they put them in there because he was such a, oh shoot, why did I do that? I thought it was the rabbit in my sights there. Take you, and we'll take you. Oh, you're a busy little, oh, we have to do one of these today too, don't we? I'll tell you, 6.56 for a perfect rabbit. Like, that's just awesome. Oh, okay, I wasn't sure. I was not sure. I knew he was raising money for Ukraine, but... and this is the thing that just makes me so sad, is that, you know, Ukraine and Russia, I mean, their families are intermarried. They're so close. So for all this that's happening, it's just heartbreaking. Let's see, let's just close this down because we're not in it anymore. I'm still very excited. I'm waiting for Harry Potter to come out. It's more my style game where I'm not, you know, not having to, like, we'll be able to do the wanding, and I think it's going to be more like, you know, how Skyrim is, but only Harry Potter, like where you're going around collecting things that you need for your potions and that sort of thing. I hope. Did I collect these? I don't think I did. Let's take that out. Yeah, him and Austin are probably my two favorites. The others, they're too... PvP Cat, he does PvP, so, you know, I like that too, but he talks, and he talks really... You know, he's not talking smack about anybody. He's just always really solid. Where are you at? Oh, you're sneaking up thinking you're going to have a little snack on my little rabbit there, weren't you? That won't be happening, no siree. No, I'm pretty sure that the whole world is on board with it, except for those who are... You know, you're talking about propaganda, and that makes me so sad when I hear the Russians, you know. I mean, what else can they think? What, they can't leave. It's not like anyone's... They're pretty much conscripting everyone in. I was listening to something, and I'm not sure where they got the information or how accurate it was, but they were saying that something like, 50,000 soldiers have died, but they're not Russian. I also heard that they're going into the prisons and forcing them to, just giving them guns, and that their armor is just like doesn't even stop anything. Like, just old stuff. The guns that they're being issued are like, you know, from the that were designed in the you know, early 1900s, and I just wonder what's going on. And then just now I was watching that China is fully acknowledging that there's a recession now, and there's 300,000 Chinese people still in lockdown. Who, no, we don't want to do it.
Hey, wait.
Make it through here and then go back. First one's up. Alright, now we go to witches. Where are you? Come on, out you come. You hide. I hate these. Sometimes I get them in my moonshine run and I'm just like, I don't want to fight this. I don't want to do this. But yeah. And you invite your friends in too. Where are they at? Come on. Oh, you're up there. There's your friend. Let's go around. We're coming for you. Oh, where was he hiding? Yeehaw! Yeah, I get twitchy when I don't have my Red Dead Redemption fix. Yeah, it's not been a good thing, and that's all I know is that, you know, and I'm watching United Nations. Every time something happens, I'm watching to see who abstains, because that makes me nervous. At least India's finally started to sort of see that they're going to have to. They didn't abstain over the last vote that Russia put in. So, you know, India worried me. China obviously worries me, but China's got such big problems right now between their heat wave and the shrinking of the Yangtze, and I don't think that they're going to be. I sometimes when you hear stuff like that, you think, oh, well, they wouldn't be able to. But they've got such a huge population, 300,000 people in lockdown, and that's the population almost of America, right? Can you imagine? Like, what must be going on? And I don't think he's going to be able to hold power very long. But that's also a really dangerous time, right? Because, what do they say? Desperate times bring about desperate measures. Sorry if I'm not responding. I'm sort of looking at this here, trying to get the looting done here. There, we got a full set of alcohol bottles. Woohoo! This game's so addictive. But yeah, I've just started to, you know, play pretty much in a solo lobby to do my deliveries. I just get, the stress is too much, the anxiety is too much. You know, we were talking a little bit about, you know, the PTSD, and I can't take even something as simple, like this is NPCs, but I can't take things like, Sugar Bear, what? You are being very demanding. It's like, Mom, you're supposed to be in bed. Why are you awake? What's this? No, that's not. I thought maybe it was some of that. I do too. I actually, and I just watched, you know, I actually think that what's happening on the PC when the modding was happening, I did, you know, hear from people that they were giving away the mod programs so that people could use them. But today I heard that the trafficking that is going on in China and Taiwan, it's just terrifying. I mean, they're actually going after people on the internet, offering jobs, saying that they need people for this or that, sending them tickets, And when they get across, they get kidnapped and sold. And the going price right now for people that they're selling is $20,000. So if a person gets on the internet and, finds someone who is got, maybe has no family, I do hear you buzzing. So you were in there. So it's got to be that card. But there's no card there. Is it up here? Where are you? Where did I hear the buzzing from? It wasn't here. Didn't see anything in there, so where was it? Where are you? I don't see it there. Is it way over there? Okay, so it is buzzing. I'm not seeing it. It's not. See, look at this. There was no flashing lights there. But yeah, I hope that one of my best friends was from Taiwan, and she had been sold. Her family had sold her. She was from a farming community, and her family had sold her to a wealthier family that had only been allowed to have one child. So they had a son, and then they had bought her, and she was supposed to stay and look after, the family. The brother was making his, he was going to make the money, and he was going to be financially looking after the family. So she was supposed to look after the mom, the family when she got older, and instead she'd gone to learn English, and she ended up marrying her English teacher and moving to Canada. And I just hear stories like that, and like these aren't things that are being made up that you're hearing from someone else. These are first-hand stories from people that were experiencing this. And I got chatting for a little while with someone on here when I first started with the PC, and got into a couple of Chinese lobbies or posses, and the questions that they were asking me were just, it was just so, I was so sure that, whatever they were experiencing, this stuff, I can't enjoy conversations because everything I wonder about is, they're not asking for trade secrets, but I think that they're preying on people, and, I really worry about whether or not fentanyl is being used as a form of warfare, stuff like that. Scary. Alright, she must be pretty close to delivery here. Let's go see. Yeah, even the legendaries are paying out the 30% more. A legendary that would normally have been what's the ghost? The ghost panther worth? I don't know what he's worth, but he paid 68 today. Like I got lucky that I needed still needed like about 80 because I'd just done a delivery.
Stocks are looking good. I suppose this'll do.
Oh, let's get rid of those. We don't need feathers. Yeah, I've stayed away from the Russian TV. I think that if I watched Russian TV, I would just start crying. I have a little bit too much empathy, and I start hearing about those things, and I wonder how humans can be the way they are sometimes.
Okay then, no comment.
So I've only got 9 to go here. I'm not going to do a delivery tonight, but I'll have it ready for tomorrow. That's how I look at it. It's a form of chemical warfare, and it doesn't just take out one person. it creates, a form of poverty, increased crime, which is why, I prefer how Canada is trying to deal with it. They're basically saying, we'll give free drugs, and what's it not, Nox, what's the kits that they give out for overdose with fentanyl? Something naloxone, or can't remember the name of it, but there's safe injection sites here because if you've got problems with people with mental health, it doesn't do any good to further victimize them by arresting them. A person has a mental health issue, help them. I would really love
In
to
your own
see more,
time.
outpatient help, you know? Yeah, they're trying to hide.
I don't
They're
want to
they're
rush
they're
you, but
they're victimizing victims, or they're criminalizing victims. These people who are addicted, I don't know what the answer
the
is, but I
suspense is
don't
killing
think
me.
putting them in jails and farming out jails, on a privatized basis. I don't think that's the answer. That's just another way for
Sometime
big
today would be
corporations,
nice.
well, not corporations, whoever's running the big prisons, it's just another way for them to, you know, it's like everybody who's gotten
Come
rich
on,
has
I'm a
made
busy man.
the bad guy of the people that they victimized. I guess that's what I'm saying. And, prison, the system is, particularly the American, I mean, we have enough trouble here with Canada, but the the courts, they're so backlogged that, possession of drugs, I just, I think they made it illegal simply so that they could go after them and try to use them as pawns to bring down the big fish. But all it did was create, more crime because those people are, you know, it is. And when, everybody who went through this, health problems are a big issue. People are it's just going to get worse too because as climate change happens, I think that we're going to be, I mean, my thought when we were looking to buy a place, I said, I don't want to be anywhere near civilization, but I want to be close enough that if we age, we can be taken to the hospital without it being, an hour drive, because there's lots of places in Canada that are a full hour, even 2 or 3 hours away from a hospital. So that was a concern. How can you be far enough away, still have access and be able to get, things that you need? Like you were talking with what you were doing there, and it's a great thing. But once you hit 80 or 85, you know, it's okay if you've got kids that come out and they're gonna, be willing to help and look after things. But having just had my mom pass away, you see just how, when they're up in their, she was 86. I mean, you know, one of the positives is we're living to 86, and one of the negatives is we're living to 86. Yeah, Canadians, we're weird. I haven't, no. My husband might have. He knows everyone. Like, he knows people that are so obscure, and even the major bands. I don't know that they come from Canada. I just don't pay as much attention. One of the aspects of my being on the spectrum is I can't listen to music quite like other people can. I can't, like, if there's any scratching on the guitar strings, I have to turn the music off. I'll just start beating, like you see when autistic people flap their hands. That's how I start to feel. I can't control how my body is reacting to that sound. So I don't listen to a lot of music. My husband does. He can tell me you know, I mean, I went to an ABBA concert when I was a kid. Oh, I know. I don't even know the major people, honestly. Like, of all, like, I'm not proud of it, but I can't listen to music. I like listening to, like, new age sounds, things that are, I guess I'm going to say sort of like Tibetan singing bowls and those sorts of things. That kind of music I like. The sound of birds chirping. I will listen to that all day long, right? So those are the kinds of things that I try to really, I just have to do everything I can to always try and calm myself. I mean, I know Randy back because when I worked at the university, I did his sound when he was performing. But I'm like not, not aware. Hello, Sugar Bear, you're back. Are you here to make more mischief, hey, Bratfink? Are you here to make more mischief? Yeah, I know you are. You're a bad little monster, aren't you? You're a bad little monster ruining my internet. Yeah, we know it was you. We know it was you. Yes, we do. We know it was you. You're a goof. You're a goof. I have heard of Robbie Robertson. Actually, yeah. I like pan flutes. I like a lot of the binaural beats, stuff like that. Stuff that just, like, whatever is really, really calming. That's the stuff I like to listen to. I was singing yesterday, and like I grew up in a family that played music and we all sang, and I think that's the first clue that I had that I was on the spectrum, because like you don't usually have a huge family that all have perfect pitch, but that's one of the things. Yeah, see, like I have some of the, I used to drum with some of the First Nations here. Of all the instruments that I love, drumming was the thing that I liked because I enjoy. My mother started a marching band when we were young and when we were in high school, and she was a teacher. She taught piano, and Dad played everything with strings, and so I like the powwow events. Yeah. You know, a lot of people don't understand. They don't understand what happened here in Canada. You know, the residential schools and those sorts of things. Even my mom, who was a teacher, my father was an RCMP officer, and my mom was a school teacher. They knew what was going on, and Dad, he was just heartbroken, and he never talked about it, never said anything, but he just loved. He just loved. He worked up in Yellowknife, the Yukon, I mean, and he loved the spirituality of it. And I've done lots of smudging, and I go out and I pick a lot of the like we have desert sage here that we can pick. And when you talk about those sorts of things, like people can be really put off. Like there is a whole culture here that especially in the policing that treated the First Nations so badly. Like when you have 45 below weather, and they would take take a drunk, and instead of taking him and locking him up, they would take him out and dump him, miles out of town. And they didn't necessarily freeze to death. Some people might have picked them up, but just what's wrong with people? This is RCMP officers. This isn't, these are people who are trained in community policing, and there's just the world is so divided right now. Yeah, I actually have the top of a totem that came from Chief Dan George, and He's one of my favorites. They talk about, he talks about the animals. And, I did a play here. It was called The Nest, because I was experiencing, my husband worked in social work here with the res, and I kind of started to experience what felt like reverse discrimination, and really wondered, how how to connect. So what I did is they weren't doing anything, they weren't celebrating Christmas, because there was so often on the res there'll be one family versus the other family, and so they'll have their elections, and the Indian Act forced them to have elections every 2 years. So they it's just a way of colonization was hideous, and it's just, I mean, colonization is just try not to say fascism, but it's no different than what the Nazis were doing, right? And you can't say that to people without them getting angry at you. So I was working with them, and I put on this play, and it was about this coyote who wanted to get all the eggs he could get, and he was a lazy coyote. So he puts on a contest for the birds, because the birds are always preening and always wanting attention. So he would say, the best bird will win big prizes. And so to enter the contest, they had to give up one of their eggs. So all coyote really wanted was to get their eggs and eat them, but they're in their vanity. They all gave up their eggs. And what I was trying to say is that sometimes in their attempts to fit in, they sacrificed their kids sometimes, because this residential schools, they taught them that they had no value. And so I really, yeah, that's why I'm saying it's just. People. It upsets me because so many people talk about fascism and the KKK, but colonization was the most brutal form of white supremacy. I mean, they took these little children in, these little First Nations children, and when they arrived, this is a first-hand experience being told to me. This young boy was put into the outside wash tub and scrubbed with a hard brush, told how ugly he was, and they had to get that color off of his skin. It just makes me want to be sick, you know. Yes, India experienced it. It was but that's why I don't celebrate the Queen. She's just the head of the colonization, right? Because she was a figurehead, she, I think that Charles has a different feeling. I think that he'll do things differently. But, you know, we don't have any proof of that. We don't know what's going to happen. And the world is in such a messy place right now that, yeah, it just makes me sad to think about it. And I can't even imagine how people lived through it. And they certainly didn't survive it. When people say, oh, they're fine, they get paid this, they get all this and that, and they get this, and I'm like, that's not true. I know these people. I did this play. They all acted in this play. I had the young girls getting up, and we put on very nice outfits. Like, there was a red bird, a yellow bird, a white bird, and a black bird. And so they were all competing, and so I used music that was representation. I can't play it on the internet because I didn't, I had lots of music that came, that we played in the play, that when we filmed it, I never even thought that I would be putting it online one day. So I even think, like, Buffy St. Marie, I painted a drum of her, and she liked it. I had her say she liked it, but then people got angry at her because I'm not a visual First Nations person. So she said that it was cultural. She didn't want to be part of cultural appropriation, I guess they call it. But I go back 16 generations to Huron, Algonquin, and Micmac. Only on one side, of 4 others. It's 14 generations back, or 16 generations back on one side, and the rest is all, Irish and German and that bit of French. But when I went looking at my ancestry, like none of my DNA. There's nothing that can prove for my DNA. It just says French, but this is so far back that it just doesn't show up. And I had way more Scottish and Irish because that's where my family had come from. And then Norwegian and Swedish. So those are the only things that showed up on my DNA, other than the English. I mean, it was German. Encompassed all the area around England. All right, so those goods are ready to go. I can sleep easy knowing that I have a delivery in the morning. I can't leave them sitting there though. Yeah, and my mom didn't want to acknowledge it, but before she passed away, she gave me a set of earrings that she went down to to one of the First Nations stores, and one of the earrings had a drum beater and the other had a drum. She was really trying very hard to be supportive, and it was her side of the family, but it was hidden. You hid those things. You didn't talk about it. If your skin was white, you didn't say that you had any ancestry, right? That was what they did. They hid that shame. So it just breaks my heart that so many children, how many suicides, how many, the women here, wear the red dress to celebrate the missing and murdered women, and we're in an area where 4 women went missing, and they all had connections to the First Nations, but unfortunately so many of them that are children of the 60s scoop or the residential areas, they all had so many mental health problems, because even if you're raised in with a family that's around, you can have problems, but not having people around, no mentors that were, like them, it's just, I could go on forever. It just breaks my heart. And there's so many other, look at all these alligators. Now that I'm finished filling my goods. Yeah, I'm proud of that ancestry. I know a friend that I used to ride with on here. He's teaching English in China, and he married a woman from China. And then they split up, so he's still there. He stays there because otherwise he won't be able to see his child. And he didn't ever put it that way, but I just look at, he'd said one of the things that he liked is, well, he was from Ireland, and he had married her, and he said he thought that was very important to have a better gene pool, because we're so, there's so much inbreeding in so many countries, Just randomly shooting stuff. I'm not even thinking about it. That's what I love about this game, is when stuff stresses me or I'm upset, because it really does bother me, that nothing can be done to fix any of those issues, except for stopping the colonization. And I'm hoping that with what's happening globally, that either the world, this is the only hope that the world has right now, as far as I can see it, is to, and a lot of people would get furious with me if I say this, but here's what I would like for a perfect world. I would like a perfect world where we have one rule, one order, one rule, and it is a quantum computer that gets to run the world. Oh yeah, I know. Like when I started doing started looking up an ancestry for my husband, he felt like he'd always had, dark skin, not dark. as in like sort of Spain dark, the like brown. It was very yellow skin, and I just always wondered why, what causes that. Like if you look at the people in say Sweden, most of them will have really, really white skin, but some of them have quite a yellow to their skin. And I just wondered, I like learning lots about DNA and what different things have contributed. And I think that a lot of people in America would be really surprised, but not just with DNA, because I don't know that it would show up in DNA, but if they ever did their ancestry, a lot of people would be surprised to find out that they have black ancestry. Like my dad's old girlfriend lived in California, and she'd originally come from Canada, so she went to the States and married, and their first child, she has that sort of yellow, very bright yellow skin and very kinky curly hair. And he accused her of, fooling around.
Supplies are looking
But
healthy right now.
as it turned out, it had been a
Excellent.
throwback
Thank you.
from his side, because he's American. And, there's lots of that. And you don't necessarily see it, because if it's in the recessive genes, it's not going to show up. But all of a sudden, you get two people who show no sign of it, and they both have the recessive gene. And you could have, a child born that's got, black skin from white parents. And people have to understand that there's only a certain genes that you can have, and they don't ever go away. See, I didn't know, nothing showed up for Jewish ancestry, but I got, when I had colon cancer, of course when they take it out, Neanderthal is in so many people, though. Like, they said something like 60% of people have the Neanderthal. There's another one, though, that they found that I really am watching, because it's a dig that they did in a cave. Is it in Russia? Denisovans. And they named it after, there was a homeless guy who was living in it, and they named it after the skeleton, the entire race of people after him. So the Denisovans, they have, there's a few that still have the genes. They don't even have a full skeleton. They have like a pinky finger, or like a little finger, one of the bones between the knuckles. That's all they have. And I think they got part of a jaw maybe more recently, but they know they've done the DNA, and people who can live up in high altitudes, that's a Denisovan trait that threw back. So, I mean, there's so much that they're starting to discover now with DNA. I just love it. We get into some of the strangest conversations, but I just love it. That's why I was saying to Bounty as well that, this is never going to be a channel that's going to be about. But I did predict it here, that there would be the Halloween pass, and that it would be coming out. I did. I feel very good about that, because I felt strongly about that, and I didn't want to. It is on one of my streams that like several of the streams, because I kept saying it. I just felt so strongly about it, because so many people were predicting that it's done, it's over, and I was like, no, I don't think so. I did a card reading. Yeah, and something like that throws back, like, I love learning about genetics, and you see it, when you want to go and raise animals, and you want to make sure that you get, when you're getting the recessive genes. But I mean, there's so much that can happen, with inbreeding. with animals, and they did like there isn't hardly a breed of purebred animals that doesn't have some kind of really. Let's pick that up. See, even these tricolored herons. Like I'll show you when we turn this in. This is like not much. It's like 3 something, 3 point something I think. And when you go to turn these herons in, they're like, is it 5 or let's see. Like it's worth, like usually I skin them, and then I went, wait a second, let's see what that's worth.
Supplies are good.
So like
I'm
the
a happy
herons were
man.
6.1, you know?
Good stuff.
But yeah, see, with me having, like, they didn't ever find, you know, my autism. I was one of those people that would have fallen through the cracks even if they'd known about autism because in our family it manifested as music. I'm extremely artistic and have perfect pitch, and we all sing. So, you know, when people ask about my voice too, I vary my voice because when I was young, I was monotone. So I have to vary my voice, otherwise I would talk. Like people tease me, but I can do Siri like, my name is Siri, but you can call me sexy, right? That sort of thing from The Big Bang. I can imitate a robot, right? But that throws back, I think, to, you know, I think that autism, they're proving now that autism is genetic, and they're seeing traces like people who don't look autistic, but they have, they're on the spectrum, right? So I just find that really interesting. Stuff that they're discovering like that just is fascinating, you know. And, you know, they said that if autism if there weren't positive things about it, it would have been bred out long ago because it would selectively, you know, people would not have, but autism is so helpful in so many things like if you, for pioneering, like people who went and started up, say came to Canada and pioneered, or, you know, went into remote areas. Well, autistic people who don't want to socialize or don't have the same need to socialize, they're built for that, you know? I'm going to have this top half filled up too. I'll be good to go for tomorrow. Oh, I was going to say about when they did the biopsy and sent it away, like a year after I had my cancer surgery, they said, do you by any chance have any Jewish ancestry? And I was like, I don't know. I have German ancestry on both sides, mom and dad. And they said, well, it came back the marker for what are they called? It starts with an A, I think, but they have. I think they were so inbred for so long, being so segregated from other people, that there's lots. Yeah, and inventors, like the way I think is so far outside the box that I don't even know where the box is, right? And I don't want to think like other people. I don't want to be like other people. People think that, you know, when you have autism,
well
you must be
stocked
really
for the time
sad.
being.
I'm like, no, I like being this way. I really like it. I like that I don't think like normal people. I like being away from people. I like being really carefully interactive with people because, you know, I think out and see and find patterns before anybody sees them, you know. That's why I trust myself so well, because the things that I say always come true. So my husband thinks I must be psychic, and I said no. My dad could do the same thing. My dad could invest in the stock market, and people are like, you know, you think you have to have a business degree. No, he had a grade 8 education. He'd been an RCMP officer. When he retired, he had an accident and went on pension for the rest of his life. But with what little he had and mom doing her teaching, he invested it, and he made money to buy other houses. Yeah, like the Blue Bloods, that comes from the recessive. They had the bleeding disease. And that's why they originally called them blue bloods, is because their blood didn't have the coagulant in it that's necessary. So, hemophilia, that's what it is. That was in there, but that's from inbreeding, right? So, and we came onto this just by talking about, a friend who, see, this is what I love about these conversations. They don't have to have a purpose. Everybody else is always trying to talk to push you in a direction, whereas for me, I talk for the simple joy of discovering what I think. That's it. So, all right. I'm just about done here. Are you done too, Sugar Bear? Are you telling me come to bed? Is that what you're saying? He says, yeah, Mom, come on. It's too late. You have to be in bed. It's like almost 1 o'clock here, so I have to head off. But it's, as usual, been a wonderful conversation with you, Silas. Even when we're 100% disagreeing, I'm appreciating the fact that you have a well thought out, way of thinking, and I really appreciate that you take the time to listen. A lot of people, if they have a different opinion, they feel that they have to either try to beat you up or make you feel ashamed of it. The truth of it is, I think that everybody, if they were given a chance to say the things that they feel and that people would talk more about it instead of polarizing, I think that we would be in a better place. So, I know. He's like, I do too. So thank you very much for coming in and having another conversation with me. And I'm going to stop the stream and we'll be on to do these goods in the morning. And yeah, bye for now. Have a great night. That's exactly how I feel. Open minds and hearts will change the world. And I believe that, everybody who listens to others gives them a chance to express themselves, because what people really want isn't to be right, it's to be heard. And if you listen to them and say, I hear you, I don't agree with you, but I hear you, and I 100% support your right to have a completely different opinion based on your well-formulated thoughts. So it's a respect, I guess. That's what's been lost in the world, is respect for other ideas. So, but that's another conversation for another time. So I'm going to say have a good night, and thanks for always keeping it interesting. And bye for now. We'll see you in the next stream.